All right, YouTube, let's get this thing finished up. This is part 4. I've been trying to keep these 15 to 20 minutes, but I've made up my mind. This is it. So, I'll try to keep it under 20 minutes, but we're gonna try to finish this thing up. So here's the box, and I'm getting ready to start drilling holes in this box. You can see I've got some lines already marked on this. I will turn this around and show you everything kind of sitting on there before I cut it up or start, drilling holes in it. And then we'll go through kind of soldering it up and then putting it together, stringing it up, doing the intonation, and seeing how she sounds. So here you go, part 4. The final of a 4-part series of building a cigar box guitar. Here's kind of a rough layout of the pieces. You can see right here, there's that pencil mark, so that's where the fretboard is going to come to. So you can see kind of how much room between the fretboard and the pickup. That's where the pickup cover is going to go. I've got the center points marked for these sound holes. We located the bridge in a previous video, and then I just like to put this, just down from the bridge where you can reach it pretty easily for the volume knob. And so I'm going to start it out. I'm going to go ahead and cut these sound holes. These are 7/8 sound holes, and then I'm going to do the piece back here for the jack plate, which is a 7/8 hole as well. And then I'll have to change bits and drill for the pot for this, and then I'll pre-drill these holes. The only other thing I'd have to do, so I'm using a top of the box pickup for this particular build, so I don't need to cut anything out. These are the little spots for the mounting screws, but I do need to do an 1/8 inch hole to run the wires through, so I can route those over and attach them to the volume knob. So here we go, getting ready to get started. I got the box laying on my bench. You can see these 2x4s underneath here, so I don't drill through my bench. Just gonna go ahead and mark where I start, and we're about to get after this here. You see the underside, pretty clean. The other thing you'll notice is I got an extra piece taped in here. It is glued up. I've just got it taped in to help hold it. I will show you what that is here in a little bit. So before I turn this camera off, I'm gonna go ahead and do this backside. So the other thing with this backside is I do a 7/8 inch hole because I use a plate for my input jack, and you can see there's where the box hinges, so that creates kind of a challenge. But if you get a pretty sharp blade and some tape to help hold this thing closed, so that input jack cover will also, not that it's the only thing, but it will also hold this cigar box guitar together, to hold the top. Okay, what I have glued in here is basically one of these side pieces from another cigar box that I had pulled these out of. The other thing I use these for, you see these got holes almost drilled in them, so I'll use them as backer plates to make this clean. I should have put something over here to help keep this clean. They still come out pretty good. But the other thing I'm going to do is I'm about to drill the hole for the volume pot, and I just put that underneath inside the box, so if I happen to go through with my drill bit, it'll hit that instead of hitting the bottom of the box and messing it up. Like that. So now there's a mark in this instead of in the bottom of my box. I know, I guess I could be more careful as well. There you go, in case you forgot what the top of the box looks like. Holes drilled in there. We're gonna put the volume pot in there, put the pickup on there, and we're gonna start some soldering. All right, it's probably not my best soldering job, but you get the idea. There's the pickup, just the wire coming from the outside of the box. It's wired to the left side of that lug. The right lug is the ground. The middle lug goes to the input jack, and there's the ground. And also I got this drying up, a piece of glue there, but this is gonna stick out of the box, and that's what I'll use to ground my strings. So before I button this up, as soon as this piece of glue dries, I'm gonna plug this into the amp and test it, and then I'll turn it over, and we will almost be ready to get this thing put together. All right, got it plugged into the amp. So make sure there's no cracking or popping, make sure the volume works, and make sure it's coming through the amp. So yeah, we just about ready now. All right, we are ready to put this thing together. You saw the inside of the box, it's done up. You know, all of the holes for everything are all pre-drilled. I went through and set all that stuff up. There's just a lot of little stuff, and I didn't want to bore you with all the little detail stuff. What I'm probably going to do is a time lapse of me putting this thing together. Now, the other thing I didn't show you was I put the tuners on the neck. and you can see how they are. This piece is towards the bottom, or this screw is towards the bottom. And so that is, you know, if you put the tuner on there, and that's where this post comes into the bottom, so the gear is here. So you want it kind of, I guess a way to think about it is you kind of want it, this post being pulled into the gear. So that's kind of why you put that screw towards the bottom. The other thing I don't think I showed you, but for this particular top of the box installation, I used this. I used a giddy bucker, one just like this. Pull it out. I'm going to leave it in the. It's got a sticker on one side, and it's got this bar on the other side. This bar, you want that facing up, and your strings running across it. That's. I mean, I guess you could do it however you wanted it, but that's kind of the recommended way. I'm also going to go ahead and try to string it up. These are the strings I use. The Southbound string company, and so the sizes are 44, 34, 26. They're electric wound strings. I just like them. So there you go. You'll also notice I have, that's the ground wire coming up. I have a piece of copper tape here, and I also put a piece of copper tape on the bridge itself. So this will get screwed down to the box. Once the neck goes in here, that'll get screwed down to the box, and your strings will go through the back here and it'll ground it. Now this one is not too bad. I could have done without putting the tape on there, but some of the other ones, like the black ones or whatnot, they're painted. You're not going to get any continuity or anything going to the ground, so it's good to have something like that, or sand all of the paint off of it, but this is the option I went with. So probably from here on out, I'm going to speed this thing up and try to get this thing put together. So I got it strung up. Now I'm gonna turn this video off for a minute. Now I'm gonna adjust these strings, and then I'll come back and we'll look at the finished product. Okay, here's a look at it. It came out pretty awesome. Okay, so after I strung it up, I tuned it up, and then you got to get it intonated properly. And what that means, if you don't know, is I could just slap this bridge down here in roughly the right spot and tighten these strings up and get a note out of it, or a chord. But this is tuned to an open G, so this is G, D, G, and so at the 12th fret it should be G, D, G, just a octave higher. The other thing is you want the octaves to So I'm gonna move this camera, and then I'll so you can see the guitar while I'm playing it, and I'll play a little bit just so you can hear how it sounds. But man, this thing came out awesome. So there it is. Oh, the other thing I use to tune these is just a little clip-on tuner. You clip it right here on the headstock, and you can tune these any way you would like. They're open tuned. Like I said, probably the most common is G, so you would tune it 151 to G. So that's G, D, G. A lot of the lessons, or people that do online guitar, cigar box guitar lessons, usually do them in G. So I'd say if you're a beginner, probably stick with G. But then if you're coming from the guitar world and you know what you got going on, then I think a lot of those dudes like the open E. So there it is. Oh yeah, the other thing too, I don't think I mentioned this, but you could see by this, I got 22 frets out of it just by coming slightly into the fretboard. I got it plugged into this little Roland mini cube. Yeah, sounds pretty good. Kind of crunch it up a little bit. And of course, these things are made for slides. Oh yeah, I forgot. One more step. If you're gonna build a bunch of these, probably a good idea to keep track of them. You know, once you start building them, you'll lose track really quick. So I tend to write all these down in a notebook. And then the other thing you don't want to forget to do is sign your work. Okay, so thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Hopefully you made it through the whole thing. Hopefully I didn't bore you to death. If there's something that you want to see or you have a question, please leave it in the comments. This has been pretty awesome. I've been wanting to film building a guitar. I think this one came out really nice, and it's going to be up on my site real soon.